Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I have a video for the beginners in baking, anyone who wants to start a baking business. Here is the essential equipment that you would require for your baking business to kickstart, and it's just a few things that you really need. So this is not everything. So I'll start by mentioning that an oven is a must-have if you can afford, but if you can't afford and you really want to start baking, then you can use a jiko, or you can bake over the gas. But it's very important to have an oven because of the regulation and all those things, heat regulation and all those things. So we'll start with here we have our measuring spoons, sorry. So these are just like different, I've lost some of them, but I'm just showing you the ones I have. Measuring spoons. This is used to measure your ingredients, especially the baking powder, baking soda, and the essence, vanilla essence, lemon essence, all those essence or flavors that you use on your cake. So we have the measuring spoons, and then the next thing that is very important is the measuring cup. This will help you achieve the quantity that you need in your baked goods. Say you want a kg of cake. Mostly you'll realize that most recipes will ask you for 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of cocoa powder. So everything is on those receipts, everything is quoted in cups quantity or grams, but mostly cup. So you'll need to get measuring cups just so you ensure you get the correct quantity of everything you're measuring. And then the other thing you will need are baking bowls, or rather bowls. I'm showing you plastic because this is a beginner. We're looking at somebody who's starting their baking business on a low budget. So you can start with plastic baking bowls, you can advance to glass, and you'll also need a sieve. So this is the one that you use to sieve your flour, because in baking you have to sieve your flour before you begin your baking process. And the bowls are just for mixing. So these are mixing bowls, but you can literally get this in a supermarket, say Carrefour or anything. Or I also wanted to plug you guys on where you can get. So the baking cups, you can literally get this in a supermarket, Isili. Sorry, not Isili. Kamukunji together with the spoons, or did I say the supermarket? Or you can get them in any baking shop in town. So there are very many baking shops in town. I'll definitely plug you guys on some of them that are actually in the CBD. So these are baking bowls and a sieve. And then the other very important thing you'll need is a weighing scale, the kitchen weighing scale. This one you can also get in any baking shop or in the supermarket. And this is very essential when you're also measuring your equipment. So some measurements require grams, measurement in grams. So this is where the measuring scale, weighing scale comes in. And also when you need to measure your dough before you put them in the oven, so that you make sure that each tin has an equal amount of dough, you use this. So this is very, very, very important as well. And then something else that is, we're on the, this, okay. So you'll need a mixer. So, but before you can afford a mixer, you can use a mwiko, and or what else? Or a whisk, a hand whisk. I think I forgot to bring mine here, but you can use a hand whisk or a mwiko to whisk, although that is very manual and very tiresome. So if you can afford to get a hand mixer before you eventually afford to buy a stand mixer, then you can be using a hand mixer to mix all your ingredients, because most pastries, or rather most baked goods, require the creaming method, which will need you to be creaming your butter and your sugar together until they are light, and that requires so much effort. This actually isn't your work by half or more if you have a stand mixer. This you can literally get this in a supermarket, Carrefour's, Naivas, any supermarket or a baking shop in town or near your location. And then, so that's in regards to preparation of the dough. I think we'll quickly move to decoration. So before decoration, you'll need your baking tins. If you don't have baking tins yet, you can use sufurias, but they have to be similar in shape and size. So, but it's very essential that you at least save up to get a good baking tin, because these ones will last you. I think these ones I started with them when I began my baking business, and I still have them to date. These are two different types. All you can find in any baking shop near you, or I'll plug you on some baking shops in town. And you can get as many as you want, different sizes. These ones are for a 1 kg cake. So baking tins, very important. Something else, now when we're decorating our cake, we will need a turntable. This is called a turntable. So the purpose of a turntable is it helps you rotate your cake easily, such that now when you're decorating, you're easily moving the cake around, and you can actually easily get the shapes you want with this turntable, other than just using a tabletop. This helps you with your decoration. This is actually an essential when it comes to decorating your cakes. So you must have a turntable. This as well you can get in town. I'll plug you guys on a shop in town that has all of these equipments. So you can just go there. Make sure you have a list of all these equipments. Just go there, give them the list, and they'll give you the equipments, because it's a one-stop shop for all your baking tins. Now, since this is on my hand, I'll also, so this is also for decoration. This is called a scraper. This is what helps you when you're. So I have a dummy cake here just to show you what this scraper is for and how the turntable works. So so this is our cake, for instance. So this scraper is used to, you know, scrape the edges to give you those smooth edges and the smooth tops. And you can see the turntable now helps us move our cake around when we're decorating. So this is the function of a scraper. We also have different scrapers here, but this one helps us get the designs that we want. So if you see some bakers, some cakes have different designs on the side, it's not manual work, you just get this scraper. When you scrape with it on the side of the cake, it will give you a line design depending on the design that is on this other side, same as this. So I just bought several so that, you know, you can play around with the designs when you're making your cake. So there's this side and this side, each gives you a different design on your cakes when you're decorating. So these are decorative tools, which I think are very essential if you want your cake to look different or have variety in terms of style and design. And then something else is a palette knife. So a palette knife is very important also for decoration purposes. So this helps us get the smooth tops when we're decorating our cakes, because the scraper really focuses on the side, but this palette knife focuses on the top, so you can easily get a smooth top. Also, if you want a design at the top, you can just tilt it. You can play around with this palette knife. Use your palette knife to apply your cake batter on the side. This does it a lot easier than you'd use anything else. So I think this is the purpose of the palette knife. Also, something else, I have this big one and this small one. Both serve the same purpose depending on the size. So there's this big one and the small one. I think you need both, but if you must, you can maybe start with the small one, but they serve the same purpose depending on the size of the cake that you have. If it's a small cake, normally I go for this, but for the big cakes, normally this works. And then we have this pastry brush. This pastry brush is also essential for lining your baking tins when you're using butter. So now, before you put in your butter into your baking tin, you use this to apply butter in the baking tin, literal butter, leave alone the cake butter. So you'll apply this butter and then line it as well with some flour. So this helps with that, just to ease on the work. And we also have this, which mostly I use for mixing. So there are those recipes that need the folding in mixing. For instance, if you're making any Black Forest cake, White Forest cake, or any forest cake, Passion Forest, normally you don't need to whisk the dough or the butter, because we need to retain as much airspace into the dough as possible. So normally you just use the folding in method, and this is what we use to fold in the butter when we're making the forest cakes. And then this is kitchen knife, but I also call it a cake knife, because this is what I use to get the leveled, this is what I use to cut the cakes and get the level top, so before you decorate, because as you know, when you're baking your cake, it will rise a bit, so you'll need to cut the top with a palette, with a knife, so that you can get an even top. And this really does a good job when cutting the cakes. I think this is it, rather than the normal kitchen knife. And then something else we have is a parchment paper. So the parchment paper is used to line your baking tins. In case you don't want to use butter and flour, you can use a parchment paper. You cut it into a size that you desire, and then you'll put it at the bottom and at the side before you pour in your dough, so that your cakes don't stick to the pan, because it's very frustrating after you've completed baking and you're not able to remove your cake from the baking tin. That would be very frustrating. So this will help with lining the baking tins. And then we also have here several tips. So these are decorating tips. This gives you the design. So if you want to get a rose design or any other design, so I've just brought you the essentials that I use most of the time. This is a very famous one. This is the 2D tip, and this is the 1M tip. So these tips, I'll just show you, and then also this one is the 6FT tip. What you do when you're decorating your cake, you put them in this thing, and then you just pour in your butter here, and then this is what you use to, decorate. So both of this, when you're decorating your cakes, are very essential. You'll need a tip and this bag, decoration bag, I believe I can call it that. And yeah, also just to add, obviously you need a cake box and a cake board when you're done, so that you can put in your baked goods. That's all that you'll need as a beginner baker. Let me know in case there's anything else I've forgotten. You can let me know in the comment section, or yeah, I'll put a contact and the name of where you can get all these things in town, the name of the shop. And thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. Have a good day. Bye.